So you've been looking at the Sony A6300. It's 2018 and you're curious, is this still a relevant camera in today's YouTube world? What is good, YouTube? My name is CJ. Let's talk tech, sneakers, and anything creative. So you're looking at the Sony A6300 in 2018 and you got the biggest question. Is it still relevant? Is it still the camera that I can purchase at the more reduced price, since it's, I think, about 2 years old now? I think we're coming on the 2-year anniversary on the Sony A6300. Now, I'm going to tell you the perspective from someone who's owned that camera since day one of its release. The first day it came out, I went to a local camera shop, I picked that camera up, and at the time I was shopping the A6000. But then I saw what was offered on the A6300, what was coming. I decided to back out of getting the A6000 and waiting for the A6300. I went and picked that up on day one, and I have not regretted that decision. Here we are, 2018, 2 years later. The camera's not the same price that it was when it first released, which is a good thing for you. Now I'm gonna talk about if you're looking to get into doing something like this or similar, or if you're out there into videography or even taking pictures and stills, but you want something kind of pro consumer. I say pro consumer because it's not the highest end pro level thing, but you can actually get pro results. That's why it's pro consumer. It's like the bridging gap from going from point and shoot to getting into more of a pro interchangeable camera setup. Mirrorless cameras are pretty dope. It's a new craze, it's a new tech that's kind of got a lot of people questioning DSLR or mirrorless. I decided to jump right in the gate on a mirrorless camera with the A6300, especially with Sony. Now, Sony offers so much for so little. No, I mean, it's not so little, you know what I mean? The price tag is pretty chunky, but at the end of the day, in comparison to like the higher end pro models and their price points, and the price points you can get on a compact mirrorless camera, and the bang for your buck you get out of that, man, it's crazy. So the A6300 is what I'm currently using to record this video. So I'm not gonna have it in hand, but of course I'm gonna have B-roll and so forth. You're gonna see it. This is the smaller brother. The smaller brother would probably be the A6000. This is like the cousin, okay? Now this is the A5100. And the reason why I even have this in my hand and I'm bringing this up and this is gonna even be talked about in here is because this has the exact same sensor as the A6300. Doesn't have the same capabilities though. It's not shooting 4K, and it's missing a lot of things like viewfinders and buttons and all kind of sets up. This is like a stripped down version. Now, if your budget is tight, even though you're staring at the A6300, but you might want something a little lighter on the pocket, which is this, and you still get the same sensor and interchangeable lenses, but there are a lot of caveats you're gonna give up. So on the A5100, one thing you get that a lot of people complain about on Sony's is that flip up screen. So that's a plus. Now, downsides, you don't get the electronic viewfinder. You're not getting all those buttons to navigate. You're gonna have to navigate in the menu, which could be a pain when you can just flip a button and a switch on the A6300. You don't get any microphone in, so you're not gonna be able to do an external mic. No Rode Video Mic Pro and stuff. But this is pretty cool for like, if you're into just doing some lightweight vlogging type of things. I think this is probably one of the better options. The only thing is your audio. You're at the mercy of these on-camera mics, so just consider that. But let's get back into the A6300 because that's what you're here for. Is the A6300 a relevant camera to get in 2018 for doing YouTube and videography? Absolutely. Especially now that you can get it a lot cheaper than what I paid for on release day. You know what I mean? I'm kind of salty about that. Now there is the option of the A6500, which is gonna cost a lot more. Now why am I bringing up the A6500? Because if you're looking at A6300, you're more than likely looking at the A6500 as well. Now the Embody image stabilization, I think they made a few improvements, and maybe even with the overheating. The A6500 might be on your list. You might be looking at that. I can't speak from that from personal use, but I am very jealous as an A6300 user of the Embody image stabilization. And it came out later on the same year, you know what I mean? Way to go, Sony. Talking about Embody stabilization, something I've recently got to help combat that. Now this is a big, huge pro-like level gimbal type of thing, you know what I mean? Not pro, but like entry pro or whatever. This is not the smallest thing, but the results I get out of this for wanting professional image stabilization and results is amazing. There's videos on this, you know what I mean? Now why do I say the A6300 is relevant in 2018? You gotta think about the features you get out of this thing. You're getting a 24 megapixel sensor. It's a crop sensor. Keep that in mind. If you don't know about that, I got a video explaining what camera I use, getting all into the technicals of apertures and so forth. But you got a 24 megapixel crop sensor. You get 4K video. And it does 6K recording, and it'll down-res it to 4K. So you're getting like buttersweet 4K. Now, the argument, oh, 4K isn't relevant right now. Everyone doesn't have a 4K. Man, you better believe 4K is coming, and you might as well know it now and get used to how to run it and use it so that when it does come and it becomes a standard and HD is the thing of the past, you right in there in the sweet spot. So it'll get you into the 4K game. 4K at 24 frames per second, which is the typical video recording rate anyway, and it is butter. I use it all the time. And even if you want to upload in 1080 or come out with a 1080 result, you can take that 4K footage and down res it to 1080 and have even more butter smooth 1080 than you can imagine. All those pixels, man, it's just a pixel party. It's just all these, in that body size at that price point. Now the caveat with the 4K and recording in 4K is a known issue with the A6300. I'm gonna go here early and let you know, overheating. Now, Sony has released firmware updates that allow it not to shut down as early as it did in the beginning, so it'll allow you to continue to record at higher temps until it reaches its threshold and completely just craps out. Now, with that being said, having that extended overheat cushion has been a blessing lately. It has allowed me to run and shoot way longer than I was able to in the beginning in 4K, as well as, since the A6300 still has the play memories, which the newer models of Sony don't, keep that in mind. There's a hack for the play memories. There's this app you can get that allows it to record unlimited time. Now that is important because if you're shooting something and it runs longer than 30 minutes, you're not withheld within the 30-minute limit of recording time. So you're able to get unlimited video recorded because you still got the Play Memories app, which is no longer on the new models. Keep that in mind. I'm saying that because you might be looking at the A7 III, A7R3, and so forth, and maybe the soon to be A6700. But you're getting that unlimited record time in 4K, and you get a little extended time on the overheating. Now, it will and it can overheat. That's something you need to know. You get a good cushion. There we go. All right. Now you get a good cushion on how long you get before that overheating thing shuts down. Now for what I do, I record about 30 to 40 minutes plus in length at one time doing this, just talking, then I go chop that down smaller. So I have yet to have overheating issues since having an update and turning on the unlimited time. Now, if you got super long, crazy shoots, you might want to consider looking at either the 6500 or you might want to go even newer in the A7 III or wait for the A6700 that may be coming, I don't know when, this year, who knows. So you might want to do that if you're very worried about overheating, but that's a known thing with Sony cameras. They overheat, it's a part of it. Now, another reason the A6300 is relevant in 2018, this is going to be same thing in video features. You're getting 1080 at the ability of 120 frames per second. Now, it's not the highest bit rate, but 120 frames per second, meaning you're getting that super, super slow mode. You have that option. Now, you can do 60 frames per second, which is the typical slow motion you're gonna see, but you get that option of 120 frames per second at 1080. Now, that's dope. You wanna do those slow cinematic shots that you're seeing that is vibing right now on the platform and videography, you can do that with this camera. You get a lot of great, amazing results. With that being said, you got this interchangeable body. Now, if you're coming from point and shoot, or if you've never had an interchangeable lens body camera, you gotta understand that changes the game. Because the body offers the features, but the lens, the glass, that gives you the sharpness, that gives you the result you get. Like right now I'm using the 85mm f1.8 from Sony. So I got a native lens. Now I don't always use native lenses. I love a company called Sigma. I have this 18 and 35 f1.8, 30mm f1.4. Beautiful, beautiful results. Having a body with interchangeable lenses allows you to get all kind of different looks and moods and feelings with the change of a lens. You get so many more options. Like right now I'm using this super far stretch lens so I can get the beautiful compression in my background at that f1.8 aperture. If you don't know about that, again, I did a video breaking down camera settings and how they work, giving you visuals, and I made it very easy for anyone to understand, so check that out. So you're getting interchangeable lenses. Now, Sony doesn't have the best the craziest camera lens lineup, but they're getting better. I'm telling you, like, the future for E-mount lenses in Sony arena is like gonna be nuts. I mean, Sigma just jumped on board. Sigma's doing E-mount native lenses for Sony bodies. Oh man, like you just saw, I have those two Sigma lenses. Now one is made for the E-mount lens, and then one is made for Canon. So I can use an adapter to turn that Canon mount into Sony mount and get it on this A6300. Get the butter smooth results. If you haven't seen any of the results, like literally you can look it up on YouTube. Check out those camera lenses. Check out the results and you'll understand why I have them. Now I'm talking a lot about video because I'm assuming that you might want to use it for video. I'll get into photos a little bit later, but my main drive with the A6300 is video. So another beautiful thing is S-Log. You get S-Log 2 and S-Log 3. Now I didn't know anything about S-Log when I first got this camera. I was just using the right out the camera settings, and those results were amazing to me. Until later on, I started to learn about S-Log and learning about true color grading and things like that, which is getting more into the pro level. You see, this is a consumer focused camera with some pro features. This gets you set up to be a pro. I'm serious. This is like the entry level into getting into the pro mind state. It allows you to understand, you know, ISO, aperture, S-Log, color grading, and all that stuff. Once you start learning that stuff, you're on another level, baby. So I'm getting into shooting S-Log. I shoot all my videos now S-Log 2, and I go and color grade them afterwards. Now this is amazing. This has taken my video game to the next level. This is teaching me things that I've never thought about. I'm learning about colors, highlights, shadows, and so forth, and how that all works in the video world. So with this A6300, you have access to that. Another thing that's a plus on the A6300 is the electronic viewfinder. You're not gonna find this on the DSLR. You're just looking at a viewfinder. Like, the electronic viewfinder allows you to see the photo or video image that you're capturing in real time. Like literally, if you're getting ready to take a photo and you look in that electronic viewfinder, what you see is what you're snapping. You know what I mean? It is amazing. So electronic viewfinder, and you can look in that viewfinder and you got all your options. You can see, you can change things in the menus. Like, you can keep it to your eye and see all of the things that you're adjusting in your electronic viewfinder. It's amazing. It's great. I love it. A lot of people that shoot with it love it. You gotta get with it. So the electronic viewfinder is another plus, and why the A6300 is still relevant. Now another thing that Sony has, this is native to the Sony mirrorless bodies, is that eye autofocus. Now this is getting more into the photo game. You got that 24 megapixel sensor, which is beautiful, more than enough to get very great quality prints. You got eye autofocus. So with eye autofocus, is what it will do is it'll put the autofocus point right on the eye. Now this works best with Sony native lenses. So you might want to have a Sony native lens if you're going to try to use eye autofocus. On the A6300, it works fair. You know what I mean? It depends on if you got face detection and how that person is looking at you. But on the later models, like the A7 III, A7R III, and A9, eye autofocus is at a whole nother level. So we're gonna get more into that in the future, because the A7 III is a body that I'm already, you know, I'm on that wave. So eye autofocus is a dope thing about these cameras, and it is present in the body of the A6300 or A6500 and so forth. The autofocusing system is pretty good. It's pretty A1. I don't like it in standing situations like this. Like, I'm using it now because I'm on the native lens, but I usually use like non-native lenses like the Sigma 1835 and the 30mm. And the reason why I use manual for me is because I use my hands a lot. So my hands, I'm showing off products and I'm lifting and moving them. So the focus changes a lot. And if it's too slow, or if it's not moving at the pace that it can be a bit distracting. So having a native lens helps with that. But also shooting manual is another option. But the autofocus is pretty good. Now, I've never used Canon's dual pixel autofocus, but everyone raves about it and so forth. And I see people who shoot Canon and their autofocus is really good. And I would like to see Sony get to that point, but the autofocusing system on the A6300 is great. I think it's like 425 points, and it covers a good portion of the sensor on this mirrorless camera. So autofocus is A1. So if you have to shoot in autofocus situations, especially if you're shooting with a native lens, you're gonna get great results. So the autofocusing is awesome on the A6300. You get a few custom buttons, and you get that microphone in. The microphone in is another great feature of the A6300. So you're able to put a Rode Video Mic Pro or plug in, you know, some other audio source and have it run into the camera. So that way you're not as reliant on the on-camera audio, which is generally pretty bad on most cameras because it's stereo and it picks up everything. You get you a nice shotgun mic, which isolates and points directly at the subject and catches it, and you get better audio that way, especially for like vlogging situations and so forth. So the microphone input is a plus. You need that. Now, it doesn't have a headphone out, but there's ways around that. You know, I mean, there's some monitors, external monitors, they have a headphone out. Like I use the Aperture VS2 Fine HD, and with that, there's a headphone out jack. So if I was doing a project where I needed to monitor the audio, I could plug in my headphones to that monitor and monitor that audio. So microphone in. So when you gotta understand, like the results that I get out of this camera and the results that I get for my videos, I'm matching a lot of bigger channels in quality. And the reason I'm able to do that is because the A6300 body, as well as the lenses that I'm able to put on there. And another thing you gotta keep in mind, you gotta have the right lighting and you gotta learn the camera settings. It's gonna take some time, but honestly, if you put it in time, you put it in the work and you get educated on that, the results you get out of the A6300 are amazing. They're beautiful and they're well worth it in 2018. So go ahead, wait, before we go any further, smash that like button, smash that sub button. I'm on a journey to 10,000 subs this year. I'm trying to break 50,000, but you know what I'm saying? I'll take it as it comes, but let's smash that 10,000 sub. So if you haven't even hit that little button right there, you might as well go ahead and do it now. Nothing to lose. I just wanted to say, learn all of the things that it takes to get the quality that you can, but the abilities you get out of the A6300 are amazing. Just search it. I mean, I see some people work with this body and I'm like, wow, you can take it to that level. And there's people even doing professional work like commercials and they're getting paid gigs with an A6300. You showing up to this spot with this small little body and you banging it out the park with like A1 footage. You gotta know what you're doing. So learn what you're doing and you get on there and you can smash it. If you're looking to get into doing this, you wanna get a setup, you wanna do reviews, you wanna do vlogging, whatever it is that you're looking to get into and you want A1 quality, the A6300 can bring that to you. Now the A6500, you want the image stabilization. If you're gonna do more handheld work, which if you're shooting slow-mo and handheld, you can do the 6300, you don't even have to worry about it. But like, say you're trying to do vlogging and so forth, the 6500 might be a better option. I mean, the Embody image stabilization is okay on it. It's not the greatest, but it's an improvement over the A6300 by far. So yeah, what are you waiting for? I mean, you just go ahead and cop that camera now if you're thinking about it. But in all reality, do your research. Look at all of the options you have out there and look at the features they offer. Think about the results you want to get. Think about the timing, like how long you want to hold on to this camera. What are you trying to do with it? How long before you reach the threshold of this camera before you need to get into a new one? Think about all of those things before pulling the trigger. But I have enjoyed this A6300 over these last 2 years, I think it's been. It's done me well. So I just wanted to let you know that just in case you're thinking about it in 2018. It's a go. And maybe you might want to look at used or something, you know what I mean? Get an even better deal. You may not want to go brand new with it. You got to think about it. Think about the length. If you're thinking about growing beyond this body, you know, you gotta think about that and be smart with how you invest and how you go about it. But anyways, my name is CJ. I love to talk tech, sneakers, and anything creative. So without any further ado, smash that sub button, smash that like button, I'm out. But look, listen to me, TubeBuddy.com/CJKnowsTECH. Now I know you think I'm pushing this for my own personal gain. Well, 30% yes, but 70% really is for you. Because honestly, if you're making YouTube videos and you don't have this extension, using it to help you and understanding how the algorithm to YouTube works, you're doing yourself a disservice. Plus, there's other good tools on there that makes things fast. Like I could copy however many 30 tags from this video and put it on mine that they're related instead of having to type that all over again, templates and so forth. I'm gonna be doing videos about TubeBuddy. I'm pushing this on my own. It wasn't like TubeBuddy came to me like, hey CJ, no. I went to TubeBuddy, I got it, and I checked it out, and I'm using it at this point. I'm a practitioner of it. I pay for this, so this is genuine. TubeBuddy.com/CJKnowsTECH, and I'm gonna help you with TubeBuddy and why you need it to help grow your channel. There's other ones out there and so forth, and even if you don't use my link, get it anyway. You can still watch my videos about it, but I would greatly appreciate the TubeBuddy.com/CJKnowsTECH. All right, I'm gonna stop drilling that in your mind, but realistically, if you're doing YouTube and you don't have this extension, you're doing yourself a disservice, and I'll let you know why in future videos. But for right now, let's get back to whatever I was talking about. I don't know.